My brothers and sisters, before you continue watching, pause for a moment. Ramadan is almost gone. These are not just ordinary hours. They are the final moments of something that may never return in your life again. Ask yourself honestly, if this was your last Ramadan, would you be ready to let it end like this? Because right now, in these final hours, Allah is still opening the door for you. And what you do next could change everything. One, Allah still accepts you even now. My brothers and sisters, no matter what your Ramadan looked like this year, no matter how strong you started or how much you struggled along the way, you must understand one powerful truth. The door of Allah's mercy is still open for you right now, in this very moment. Perhaps you began Ramadan with high intentions, telling yourself that this time you would change, that this time you would be consistent in your prayers, that this time you would leave your sins behind. But somewhere along the way, you became tired, distracted, or weak. You missed prayers you promised you would protect. You returned to habits you said you would leave. You delayed your connection with Allah thinking you still had time. And now, as Ramadan is coming to an end, a heavy feeling sits in your heart. A feeling of regret, a feeling of disappointment, perhaps even a quiet whisper inside you saying, what was the point? I have already wasted it. But this is exactly where you must be careful. Because that voice is not guiding you back to Allah. That voice is pushing you further away. The greatest mistake you can make in these final hours is not your past actions, but believing that it is too late to return. Because as long as you are breathing, as long as your heart is still turning, it is never too late with Allah. Allah does not expect perfection from you. He knows your weaknesses. He knows your struggles. He knows the battles you fight within yourself that no one else can see. And despite all of that, He continues to invite you back again and again without tiring, without closing the door. Think about that for a moment. Every time you turned away, He still allowed you to return. Every time you sinned, He still gave you another chance. Not because you deserved it, but because His mercy is greater than your mistakes. So do not let shaitan convince you that you are unworthy of forgiveness. Shaitan wants you to feel hopeless because a hopeless heart stops turning back to Allah. But a believer, no matter how many times they fall, always finds their way back. These final hours of Ramadan are not meant for drowning in regret. They are meant for rising with sincerity. They are meant for that one moment where you put everything aside, raise your hands and speak to Allah honestly, without pretending, without hiding. Tell Him you tried, tell Him you struggled, tell Him you failed, and most importantly, tell Him that you still want Him. Because Allah does not look at how perfect your Ramadan was. He looks at whether you turned back to Him before it ended. And sometimes one sincere return in the final moments is more beloved to Allah than a month of actions done without presence. So return now, not later. Speak now, not tomorrow. Turn to Allah with whatever is left in your heart, even if it feels small, even if it feels broken. Because when you take one step towards Allah, He comes to you with mercy far greater than you can imagine. And that is how hearts begin to change. 2, one moment of sincerity can change everything. My brothers and sisters, we often believe that change is something that takes a very long time. We think that becoming better requires months of effort, years of discipline, and a level of consistency that feels difficult to reach. Because of this, we sometimes delay our return to Allah, telling ourselves that we will change slowly, that we will fix things later, that we need more time before we can truly become better. But with Allah, change does not always follow the rules we imagine. With Allah, one sincere moment can change everything. A single dua made with a heart that is fully hawdir, fully present, can be more powerful than hours of words spoken without feeling. A single tear that falls from your eyes out of genuine regret can weigh heavier than years of actions done without sincerity. One honest conversation with Allah, where you open your heart completely, can transform your direction in ways you never expected. The problem is not that we lack time. The problem is that we lack sincerity in the moments we already have. In these final hours of Ramadan, you do not need long speeches, complicated words, or perfect ibadat. What you need is one real moment. One moment where you forget everything around you, where you silence the noise of this world, and where you turn to Allah with a heart that is truly hadir. Sit alone, even if it is for a few minutes. put your phone aside, remove every distraction, and then raise your hands, not out of habit, but out of need. Speak to Allah in your own words. Tell Him what is in your chest. Tell Him what hurts you. Tell Him what you are struggling with. Tell Him what you are afraid of. Do not worry about how you sound. Do not worry about the perfection of your words. Allah is not listening for beautiful language. He is listening for a sincere heart. Because sometimes that one moment where your heart breaks in front of Allah is the moment your life begins to heal. You may not see the change immediately. You may not feel something dramatic in that instant, but something shifts inside you. A seed is planted, a connection is formed. And that connection has the power to guide your future in ways you cannot see right now. Never underestimate what Allah can do with a sincere heart. There are people whose entire lives changed because of one night, one dua, one moment of truth between them and Allah. And there are people who spent years in ibadat without change because their hearts were not truly present. So in these final hours, do not focus on how much you have done. Focus on how sincere you can be right now. Because this might be the moment that Allah was waiting for from you. This might be the moment that turns your regret into forgiveness, your weakness into strength, and your distance into closeness. And when that moment is real, even if it is short, it can be enough to change everything. 3, your heart knows what you need to fix. My brothers and sisters, there is something powerful that many of us try to ignore, but we all feel it deep inside. Your heart already knows what needs to change. You may not say it out loud. You may distract yourself from thinking about it. You may even try to justify it in different ways. But when you sit alone, when everything becomes quiet, when there is no noise around you, that truth comes back. It is that one habit you keep returning to, that one sin you struggle to leave, that one area of your life where you know you are not where you should be. And the reason it keeps coming back to your mind is because your heart has not become comfortable with it. There is still light inside you. There is still a part of you that wants to be closer to Allah. And that part refuses to accept what is wrong as something normal. That feeling of discomfort you have is not a weakness. It is a sign of iman. Because when the heart is completely lost, it no longer feels the weight of sin. It no longer cares. But the fact that you feel something, the fact that it bothers you, the fact that it keeps returning to your thoughts is actually a mercy from Allah. It is Allah reminding you without words. It is Allah calling you back without you even realizing it. So instead of running away from that feeling, face it. In these final hours of Ramadan, be honest with yourself in a way you have not been before. Ask yourself, what is the one thing that is creating distance between me and Allah? What is the one change I know I need to make, even if it is difficult? Do not think about 10 things. Do not overwhelm yourself with a long list. Focus on that one thing your heart keeps pointing towards. Because real change does not begin with everything. It begins with something. Make a sincere intention in your heart. Oh Allah, I want to leave this for your sake. You may feel afraid. You may feel unsure if you can stay consistent. You may even think that you will fall back into it again. But do not let that stop you. Allah does not ask you to guarantee the future. He asks you to be sincere in the present. Even if you struggle later, even if you slip again, what matters is that right now, in this moment, you are choosing Allah over your desire. You are showing Him that your heart still wants Him. And Allah sees that. He sees the effort that no one else sees. He sees the internal battle that no one else understands. He sees how hard it is for you, even if it looks easy from the outside. And He rewards you for that struggle. Sometimes we think success means never falling again. But with Allah, success begins the moment you decide to stand up and return, no matter how many times you have fallen before. So do not wait for a perfect version of yourself to make that change. Start with the heart you have right now. A heart that is aware. A heart that still feels. A heart that still wants Allah. Because that heart, if it is honest, is already on the path back to Him. 4. This could be your last Ramadan. My brothers and sisters, there is a reality that we often avoid thinking about, yet it is one of the most important truths we will ever face. This could be your last Ramadan, not next year, not someday far away, this one. The very Ramadan you are living right now could be the final opportunity Allah has given you to fast, to pray, to make dua, and to return to Him. And the truth is, none of us know. Last year, there were people just like us. They entered Ramadan with hopes, with plans, with intentions to change. They stood in prayer at night. They made dua with sincerity. They spoke about what they would do differently in the future. But today, they are no longer here. Their place in the masjid is empty. Their voice is no longer making dua. Their time has already ended. And we are still here. Not because we are better than them. Not because we deserve it more. But simply because Allah in His mercy gave us one more chance. One more Ramadan. One more opportunity to return. So ask yourself honestly, without rushing past the question, if this truly was your last Ramadan, would you be satisfied with how you spent it? Would you feel at peace knowing that you gave it your best, that you tried sincerely, that you turned back to Allah with your heart? Or would there be regret? Regret for the nights you wasted. Regret for the prayers you delayed. Regret for the moments you chose distraction over connection with Allah. Because once Ramadan ends, it does not come back. And once life ends, there are no second chances. That is the reality. But here is the mercy. You are still here right now. You are still breathing. You are still able to raise your hands. You are still able to say, "Oh Allah, forgive me." And as long as you are still here, your story is not over. These final hours are not just hours passing by. They are opportunities that may never return again in your life. Opportunities to erase sins. Opportunities to reconnect with Allah. Opportunities to leave this Ramadan in a better state than you entered it. Do not let these moments pass like any other time. Slow down. Reflect. Detach yourself, even if briefly, from everything that distracts you. From your phone, from unnecessary conversations, from anything that takes your heart away from Allah. And turn back to Him with presence. Pray with focus. Make dua with sincerity. Ask for forgiveness as if you truly need it. Because you do. We all do. Imagine standing before Allah one day and wishing for just one more chance. Just one more Ramadan. Just one more night to make things right. That moment will come for every single one of us. But right now, you have what others wish they could return for. So do not treat this as something ordinary. Treat these final hours as something priceless. Because if this truly is your last Ramadan, then let it end with your heart turning back to Allah in the most sincere way you can. And if Allah grants you another Ramadan in the future, then let this be the one that changed you. The one where you finally woke up. The one where you stopped delaying. The one where your heart truly returned. Because sometimes one Ramadan is enough to transform a life, but only if you realize its value before it is gone. 5. End Ramadan with a heart connected to Allah. My brothers and sisters, as Ramadan comes to an end, many people begin to focus on what they have done and what they have not done. They think about how many fasts they kept, how many nights they prayed, how much Quran they recited, and how consistent they were throughout the month. But the true question is not how much you did. The true question is, what has Ramadan done to you? Because Ramadan was never meant to be just a series of actions. It was meant to be a transformation of the heart. It was meant to soften you, to wake you up, to bring you closer to Allah in a way that stays even after the month is gone. And this is where many people lose the real benefit. They worship Allah in Ramadan, but they disconnect from Him after Ramadan. They build a connection for a few weeks and then slowly return to old habits, old distractions, and old distances. But the goal of Ramadan is not to create temporary change. It is to begin a lasting connection. So as these final hours pass, do not let your focus be on perfection. Do not let shaitan make you feel that because you were not consistent, your Ramadan has no value. That is not how Allah looks at you. Allah looks at your heart. If your heart has softened even a little, that is success. If you feel closer to Salah than before, that is success. If you feel more aware of your actions, more conscious of your words, more careful about your choices, that is success. Even a small change in the heart can be the beginning of a lifelong transformation. But now comes the most important part. How will you leave Ramadan? Will you leave it the same way you entered, or will you leave it with something that stays with you? Because the real sign that Ramadan was accepted is not what happened during Ramadan, it is what continues after Ramadan. A heart that has truly connected with Allah does not completely disconnect when the month ends. It may not be perfect, it may not be as strong as it was in Ramadan, but it does not forget Allah. It continues. It holds on, even if lightly. So in these final hours, make a promise to yourself. Not a heavy promise that overwhelms you, but a sincere and realistic one. Choose something small that you will continue after Ramadan. Maybe it is protecting your daily prayers. Maybe it is reading a few verses of Quran every day. Maybe it is making dua regularly. Maybe it is leaving one sin you know you need to leave. Do not try to change everything at once. Hold on to one thing and hold on to it sincerely. Because consistency even in small actions is beloved to Allah. And more importantly, ask Allah to keep your heart connected to Him. Because no matter how strong you feel right now, your heart can change. You can become distracted again. You can become weak again. And that is why you need Allah's help to stay close to Him. So ask Him with sincerity. Oh Allah, do not let my heart drift away after Ramadan. Oh Allah, keep me close to you. Oh Allah, help me continue even when I feel weak. Because the connection you build with Allah is not based only on your strength. It is based on His mercy. And when Allah holds your heart, even your weakness becomes a means of returning to Him. So end this Ramadan with presence. End it with dua. End it with a heart that is trying, even if it is not perfect. Because the most beautiful ending is not the one where you did everything right. It is the one where your heart truly found its way back to Allah. And if your heart leaves Ramadan connected to Him even slightly, then you have gained something more valuable than anything else in this world. Because a heart connected to Allah will never be completely lost. It may struggle, it may fall, it may become weak at times, but it will always find its way back. And that is the greatest success you can carry with you beyond Ramadan. My dear brothers and sisters, Ramadan is ending, but your journey with Allah should not end with it. These final moments are not just an ending, they are an opportunity to leave with a heart that is closer to Allah than it has ever been before. So before this Ramadan slips away, take one sincere moment, raise your hands, even if it is just once more. Speak to Allah even if your words feel broken. Turn back to Him even if you feel unworthy. Because Allah is not looking for perfection, He is looking for your return. And perhaps this one final sincere moment, this one honest dua could be the reason your life changes forever. So do not let Ramadan end without returning to Him. And remember, the one who finds Allah at the end of Ramadan has not lost Ramadan at all.